Hello Year 10 and hello parents and carers of Year 10 students if you are watching this catch-up video. So today I'm just going to run through a few bits of information that I'd just like to share, which all achievement leads are sharing with their year groups over the next week or so, just to kind of cover some sort of basic, it's not really expectations, it's more sort of advice and support that we can offer as a school during the current time. So first things first, it's really important, and it's easy for me to say, and I've kind of had to reevaluate the way I work at home, but it's really important to look after yourself. Okay, that applies to you, that applies to families, that applies to any friends that you might have in sort of a friendship group on any social media, that kind of thing. Looking out for each other and looking after yourself is really, really crucial at the moment. There are a few pieces of advice on the screen. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to select the ones that I think are the most important. They're all extremely important, but there's some that I just wanted to cover and talk through. The first one is connecting to family and friends. Now, it's quite easy when you're on a screen all day at home, possibly in your room or possibly at the kitchen table or whatever it might be. It's quite common to sort of remove yourself from talking to people and to sort of avoid conversation because you're in the zone of school. And whilst that's fine, you must set aside time during the day to talk to others about non-school related things, to talk about, family issues, or to talk about something that you've watched or something that you've read or something that you've seen on TikTok. I don't know, but the general idea is that you are talking and connecting with people, and just remember that even if you are part of a small family or part of a small friendship group and you've not seen your friends in a long time, they're only a phone or a video call away. The fourth one is also really important because getting a good night's sleep is really underestimated at the moment. Our bodies are moving less probably during the day, so we're probably not as tired as what we might normally be if we're up at sort of 8 o'clock and moving on the walk to school and then around school and then lunch and then at the end of the day and so on. And I know a lot of you do sort of after school activities outside of school, and I know at the moment a lot of those have been cancelled or postponed. So I get that you might not feel as tired, but it's really important to be in a routine where you are getting a good night's sleep, because going to bed at 1 and waking up again at 7, it's not 6 hours of quality sleep. It's likely to be disrupted and your mind's likely to be in overdrive, thinking through what you've got to do the next day and what you've done on that day that you've just had. Okay, and number 7 is probably the most important one for me. Take a break. We've scheduled the breaks in as normal time for you. So for year 10, your break is at 10:45 till 11. It's a 15-minute break. And you also have a break for your lunch, which is 12:50 to 1:20. Now, they're only short breaks, but please make sure you take them. And when we say break, we mean moving out of the room, moving away from the laptop, looking out of the window, talking to somebody, doing something that's not on Teams. Okay, don't use the breaks to finish work that you could have finished in the lesson, because if not, you'll spend the whole day at a screen. And actually, we're asking students to make sure that they're following breaks as they would normally. Okay. Help is available, and obviously things don't always go to plan. There might be the odd technical issue, there might be the odd issue where you need to get a bit more support, and there's a really useful section of our website, which is a student info section, and the link is on the screen now. And there's lots of links on there in terms of how to access Microsoft Teams, how you can download Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc. for free without having to pay. All comes from the school website. So that website at the bottom of the screen here is really important for that. In terms of getting in touch with staff, just remember that we are all here and we are all able to help in some way with technical issues. First point of call would be your mentor. Okay, and the mentors are on the staff page of the Garibaldi School website. They're also on the Year 10 page of the Garibaldi School website as well. Email your mentor on. We need you to email from either parent or carer's email address or from your school email address. We can't respond to emails that come from personal email addresses. Gmail, iCloud, Hotmail, Outlook. We can't respond to those. It has to be from Garibaldi School email. But if you've been locked out of that, and a parent or carer can email in from their email address. It's just we cannot respond to students' personal emails. Okay, so that's just a really important point to bear in mind there. The other alternative is to phone the school office. The school office is fully staffed between 8 o'clock, I believe, and 3:30, 4 o'clock. So there is that option there. If you are having issues with the technology side of things, you can phone the school office, and they'll be able to direct your query to your mentor or to me. These are some tips on the screen here that staff have sort of shared as a group, because obviously as staff we feel your pain sometimes. We're also sitting in front of a screen all day, and we're also having to sort of switch through different tasks and start lessons and end lessons, and we're also having to sort of stick to our usual lunch times and that kind of thing, and it is difficult. Okay, it is difficult. I'll be really honest and say that I've struggled quite a lot in terms of getting into a routine, but now that I'm in it, I find that I feel much better for it. Okay, and some of these are really straightforward tips, like making sure you've got your timetable with you. So don't forget your timetables on the back of your lanyards. You should still have those, and on the back of the lanyard, on your lanyard, you've got your name and mentor group on the front. On the back, you've got your timetable. Stick to that. Use that. Okay, it should also show in the calendars section of Microsoft Teams as well. Make sure you're using sorry, couldn't get my words out there. Make sure you're using an alarm as a reminder for the lesson timings. I mean, they normally do pop up on Teams anyway. Just make sure that you're in the correct team for when the lesson is. Make sure you've got sort of pen and paper handy in case you have to make any notes. I know a lot of students in my classes in Year 10 have been sending me images of notes they've made, which is great. Make sure you've got that handy in case you do have to write anything down. Another thing is, like, for teachers, this is a really different way of doing things. Typically, when we plan lessons, we know exactly what we can do in the classroom. We know exactly what works. We know exactly what needs to be covered, and we know exactly how to cover it. Online, we're having to sort of test the waters in a lot of respects with what works and what doesn't work. So, and what doesn't work as well, and that kind of thing. So please just bear in mind that we've gone to a lot of effort to make sure you can continue learning, and there will be all sorts of different approaches that you'll see in classes. Some might be more interactive, like a Kahoot or a particular game. Some might be essay paragraphs, but what I kind of want to emphasize is that whatever your teacher has planned for you in the live lesson, it's been planned really carefully with you in mind. It's not just being pulled up from somewhere off the internet, and it won't be irrelevant. It will be linked to your study as well. Okay. In terms of problems, let your teachers know. I know some of you are really shy. You don't want to email. You don't want to post it in the chat. Email them. Okay? Email them in the lesson. It's fine. We'll have our emails open. We can check them. Okay? In terms of the following, I want you just to think as I'm reading through, and I'm coming to the end of my catch-up here, but just have a think about, whether these present to you an obstacle or an opportunity, and there will be divided opinions on these. Okay? So the first thing is, you're in the comfort of your own home. Is that an obstacle? Is it an opportunity? It's probably comfier. You're probably not wearing school uniform, but the downside is that you're kind of stuck in the same place all day. So that you've got to kind of think about these. There will be positives and negatives on both sides. You'll be using software that you might not have used before. Some of that software is really fun to use. You don't have to walk to school in the freezing cold or the pouring rain. Winter is probably the worst time of the year for walking to school in snow with wet shoes. And I know it all too well when students come to my classroom and say, "Sir, can I put my shoes on your radiator at the back?" Because they're absolutely sodden. So that's something, probably more of an opportunity not to have to do that. I've already mentioned uniform. Not having to put your phone in your bag, for example, or keep it out of sight. You get a little bit of a lie-in because we've not started mentor time yet. So with that being at 9:10, you actually get probably a considerable lie-in. If you've got a question about a particular word or a particular task, you can pop it into Google, and it will give you the answer in 0.1 seconds, something like that. That's a lot quicker than what you'd get it in classroom probably. And you can actually eat your dinner and have your drinks when you want. Okay, you can have that kind of stuff, those kind of food and drink and snacks and whatever available. We can't see them and we can't check, and we're not going to. So I think in some senses you've got to kind of see it. Yes, there are obstacles in place, and yes, it might be difficult in some respects, but looking at the overall picture, there's probably sort of obstacles and opportunities on both sides. Okay. Last slide from me, then. Just make sure you do get in touch if you need anything. Lots of parents have already got in touch with me about things such as timetables or queries about the lessons that they've been having, or sort of just general advice. And there's my email there if you need anything. Please don't hesitate to get in touch, or with your child's mentor. Now, you'll have got a letter home about the 1st of March being a mentor review day, and we'll provide more details about that in due course. Just a date for the diary for you to save ahead of then. Okay, thanks a lot for listening today. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will catch you again next Wednesday.